Thank you. The love of creation. A lot of information has been coming through me and to me lately. A lot of profound information, a lot of what I consider simple truths of existence. And so I'm here today to share some of that with you and hope that it rings true for you as well. It is very obvious to me and to a lot of us that everything here, this entire reality, this entire existence, is simply creation here to create and experience that creation over and over again without end. Creation experiencing creation, creation loving creation, and even creation hating creation. But it is all creation, it is all our creation. And for those of you that believe in reincarnation, all that means is that every creation is built upon itself and is built upon ourself and ourselves. We come into this life born into an energy and born into a creation that already exists. And it exists because some part of us was already here creating that pre-existence. And we're brought in to the current moment, the current piece of creation, the current piece of time, the current piece of existence, brought into all the collective energy as a clean slate. And we take on the energy of the moment, both from the stars and astrology, both from collective creation, but also the family that we're born into. We adapt their beliefs, their energy, their ideas of creation. We're born into typically a certain religion or lack of religion, and we're born into that energy and that creation that was already there before us, and we're taught to adapt to it. We're brought into a current political climate and system, and we're taught to accept it and adapt to it. We're brought into a current family, and every family, every religion, everything has pre-existing beliefs, ideas, ways of being. And none of it is wrong. None of creation is ever wrong. Even the parts that crush us, that kill us, and that we call suffering, it is all part of creation. And for me, to disallow any part of creation means disallowing God itself. We are here to allow creation, to experience creation, and then to choose. It is the greatest gift that we have, to choose to what to create next after experiencing what we have already created. And so when I speak about the love of creation, it is two things. It is a call for us to love all of creation and all of existence, but it is also an understanding that as we come into life and we come into religion and race and family and society, we come into this energy and we're literally born into it. We're literally grown into it. And so we have a connection to it. Every piece of our life, every piece of existence, every piece of the world that we grow up in, we have a connection to. And I don't say this as a judgment, but sometimes that connection, and sometimes it's good and bad or bad, but it's still just a connection. And for me, what's come through for me is there's a lot of misunderstanding, I feel, around the word love and what true love is and true unconditional love is. There's the love that we've been taught, and that's okay because it's what we've known so far as love. But for me, connection is also love. They're interchangeable. When we have a true connection with something, we also have a love for something. And because of that, when we grow up in a world, in a society, in a religion, in anything, in a political climate, we then have a connection to it. And on some level, we have a love for it. And when someone else comes along and tries to tell us that what we love is wrong, we don't like to accept that. And we fight back. We fight for what we love. And this is where a greater understanding is needed. We need to understand that when we're butting heads with each other, with beliefs, it's simply each one of us trying to hold on to what we love, trying to hold on to what we created or what we believe is the correct creation for ourselves. And that's not always the same for everybody. This is a vast creation. There's a lot here. There's a lot of creation happening all around us, everywhere, in every moment. And that creation is never singular. All of creation is built upon previous creation. The chairs you're sitting in were designed by somebody, but they wouldn't have designed a chair if a chair didn't exist. If somebody didn't first sit on a rock and decide they wanted something more comfortable, a chair wouldn't be here right now. Every piece of creation that we are in right now is built upon previous creation. And everything we believe is built upon previous beliefs. I was brought up Catholic. We went to church every Sunday. I was taught about Catholic God, and I was taught about Jesus and the angels of the Bible, and it created a strong faith and belief and beginning for me. But somewhere along the way, some part of me always knew that for me it wasn't the full truth. It was part of it, and it was a good part of it, and there were good morals and some good groundwork within it. It doesn't mean if you decide to leave something, it doesn't mean that it's wrong or it's bad. Everything serves its place, and everything is a springboard for us to get to the next level. And for me, I feel that foundation instilled some spirituality in me, some belief in God, some belief in angels. But at some point in my life, I realized that there was something much bigger and much different for me. And I made a shift. I decided not to hold on to the beliefs that I grew up with. And there are people out there that are still holding on to the beliefs they grew up with. And that's okay, because for them, that's their connection to their faith and their life. So it's not up to us to change anything. It's up to us to make our own decisions, to make our own creations, and invite others to join in our creation. For us to create something new, we do not have to destroy what is already created. We do not have to destroy another's creation for us to bring something new. We are a young species. We learned to crawl as babies. We learned to walk as toddlers. And as a species, we are still very, very young. I'm not even sure we've made it to adolescence yet. I'm really not. And that's okay. But if a toddler gets a piece of clay and wants to sculpt something, it does the best that it can with the knowledge that it can, with the body that it can, and the mind that it has. And as parents, regardless of what that looks like, it's probably a nice thing to do to celebrate it because it's a creation, regardless of what it looks like. I don't think it would be very well received if we saw that and said, this is shit, I apologize for the language, and smashed that creation. The child did the best that it could with all that it had. And we as humanity, we are doing the best that we can with all that we have. So we also need to give ourselves forgiveness for where we are in the creation process. And know that understanding and awareness and growth, it's all part of our journey. It's all part of where we're going. And when we do it collectively, we get there a lot faster. But even if we aren't on the same page, we don't have to rip out the other person's page. It truly is about honoring all of creation. It truly is about loving all of creation. It truly is about loving where we are, who we are, and understanding that we are doing what we can as best we can. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves and the world is bringing more awareness into our being, into our mind, and allowance for ourselves and others to be who they are, where they are, what they are, and understand that it is our choice, if we don't like the current creation, to simply create something new and invite others to join us in that new creation. And I consider myself an artist. I haven't done a lot of art lately, but I went into a career, graphic design, website design, and that was my creative outlet. I have a couple paintings and drawings, so I do consider myself an artist, and I love my creations. During COVID, I felt like challenging myself. I decided to make a Rubik's Cube piece of artwork. I picked Yoda because I love Star Wars. I love Yoda. I love his wisdom. It's hanging in our bedroom. It's made out of 144 cubes or something. It took a long time, and I love it. I stare at it every day, and I love that I created that. I love that I put in so much time into creating this piece of artwork. And I also know that at some point it might be time to let it go. And we can let something go that we love without any kind of judgment around it. We can let go of past creation without any kind of judgment around it. But another thing that I want to bring into your awareness, and goes back to the connection that I talked about, where everything is built upon everything else. So everything that we're experiencing creation is built upon previous creation. So I want to bring the word honoring into your minds, into your thoughts, to honor all of creation, to honor all past creation, regardless of what it looks like. Several years ago, several decades ago, several centuries ago, things were very, very different. It was normal for people to kill each other over an argument. It wasn't about who was actually right. It was about who was dead and who was alive. And that was considered okay. You had an argument with somebody, you fought it out, and one of them walked away. And that was life. That was accepted as life. It used to be perfectly normal to beat your wife or to beat your children, sometimes bloody. That was a way of life. And I am very grateful that that has changed. Not completely, and that's also okay. It hasn't changed completely, but it has changed, and we have to honor that change sometimes takes time. We are a young species. Our perspective is sometimes a little skewed because we're only here for 100 or less years in a single body, but we have to understand the greater picture is we are here for lifetimes and generations, and through those lifetimes and generations is where the greatest shifts in creation occur. But we also need to understand that we absolutely have the power to shift creation just as much as it was changed in the last century. We can change creation that much in the next year, in the next month, in the next day. If every single human being on earth came together with an intention, a unified intention, you would see the world change instantly. But if we don't, that's okay. If we don't, that's okay.